Have you ever been to a resort where they have I went to one about 3 years ago for the first time, and they had a Western-style shopping, saloon-looking kind of shopping strip in the resort, so you would never have to leave to go shopping. You could actually just, it was kind of a Wild West theme, which was kind of weird for Jamaica. But no one seemed to ask the question, it just seemed cool. So in 1990, bigger was better and more people, and the traveler was consumed with the idea that more people was a better experience. And it was the opposite of that I started Gap Adventures. And which was when I wanted to go traveling in 1990, and my inspiration was when I went backpacking. I went backpacking for the first time, and I didn't really want to go backpacking, but I had no choices. You either take a cruise, you go to a resort, or you take a coach tour. Those are the options of travel. If you wanted anything else, and you wanted anything more authentic or more, at a grassroots level, you go backpacking. And so my inspiration was when I went backpacking, there was people on the road just like me that were young, professional, people with disposable income, but they were just doing it on their own. And so that was my inspiration, because I thought there's got to be other people like me that want something organized, don't have the amount of time needed for backpacking, because if you want to go, but then I started looking at those travelers and realizing the benefits that those travelers had on local communities. When I went out on the road, I saw that how many people benefited from my spending. I only spent $20 a day or $15 a day when I went, admittedly. That might not seem like a lot to me, but I paid $5 for my meal. I paid $10 for my hotel. That went to another family. I then spent $3 for my transportation. I might have taken a taxi and I spent another $3 or $4. I might have, my breakfast, I spent $3 or $4. And then multiple people benefited, and it was the first kind of concept, really. The first ecotourist really was the backpacker. So Gap Adventures was born. I came back, and I was 22 years old then, and it was a different time. I was like any 22-year-old. I was, wanting to start a new business, had a great idea, but putting it in practice would be a different thing. But taking people in local accommodations, local transportation, getting people away from air-conditioned coaches, getting people away from the idea of staying in Best Western hotels. We always said that, in my first brochure, I said, it seemed like travel companies wanted to give you the comforts of home. That was what they promised. And in my first brochure, I said, if you want the comforts of home, please stay at home. Because if you're in Africa and you feel like you're at home, I've totally ripped you off. So please just ask for your money back, because I don't want you to feel like you're at home. And that was actually a crazy idea. Can you believe that? At the time, with all the discount airlines, people can travel faster, cheaper. There's advertisements now for £5 flights. You see all over England now for people to fly, yet local people aren't in the conversation. Local communities aren't in the conversation of the development of tourism, which causes all kinds of other issues outside of sustainability. It causes issues of resentment towards tourism. And if you go to the Caribbean these days, and I'm from the Caribbean, by the way, I was born in Trinidad. If you actually go to the Caribbean these days, you'll see that the compounds that they house tourists in are becoming more and more inclusive, because you can't actually leave the compounds anymore, because there's a lot of resistance to tourism, because all of their shorelines have been bought up by foreign investment, and locals have no place to go on the beach anymore, because they're all littered with resorts. The travel isn't going to grow the same everywhere in the world as well. It's not going to scale equally. There's hotspots and areas that are going to really see an impact, like China, for instance, where China's just going to open up and explode with tourism. And some smaller areas like Burma, or even the Galapagos Islands, or areas like Egypt and areas like Costa Rica, or areas that really have quite a strong infrastructure for tourism, can handle growth. But a lot of the smaller regions can't. And probably one of the saddest statistics that came out when the United Nations Environment Program in 2008 announced that out of every $100 spent, and this is the problem in the tourist industry, only $5 actually stays in country. So that is the biggest problem that we have in the tourism industry, because not only are local people not benefiting from the growth in tourism, it's actually, it seems over time it's getting worse. There's more and more foreign investment, there's more consolidation within the industry, and it's getting cheaper and faster to travel than ever before.